So you do have to wonder. So you do have to ask yourself, is it possible?
And I say, yes.
Ancient action figure prophecies foretold.
Is it indeed possible?
I think the real question is it indeed possible that from Hot Toys tonight, at some point over the next several hours, are we going to get Bail Organa, an Artisan, Jimmy Smits, or perhaps Jabba, the frackin' Hutt? Or maybe we'll just get an Artisan Thor, Lane. It'll have nothing to do with May 4th. You never know with Hot Toys. But listen, it is the Dark Jedi live on May 4th. And I am here along with Legend Lane, my compadre. And we're going to be having a couple of guests come in here in just a little bit. But happy May 4th. Happy Star Wars Day, Lane. Yep. I'm a little excited for what's going to happen to here over the next several hours and couple of days from Hot Toys. What's going on?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just for they're just from the last within like 72 hours, there's plenty to talk about that finally went up for it. That even Hot Toys teased us, as we always know. It doesn't matter how long ago or how recently they tease you something, until it actually says up for pre-order, you never know 100%. You can say, I expect it. The 13 Skull might have told you it might be coming, but until Howie hits the button and it goes up in Hong Kong and on Sideshow, you never 100% know. And they put some ones that I think people are excited for. And then
interesting choices and ones we're going to dive into.
Yep. And then they had some of those exclusives finally coming available where we can actually start pre-order them here in the United States. Mm-hmm. So I know people were anxious for that too. So that's good to see as well.
It's good to see as well. And I tell you what, wait a minute. Looks like I'm getting a call. Could it be from an otherworldly being? Let's pick it up, Lane, and find out. Move this over a little bit. Hello? 13th Skull! Yes, you are calling while I am live. It's not live where you are. This happened 10 years ago. But okay, well, then tell me the future, baby. Really? Well, no, I can't tell Lane we're gonna get that tonight. He'll never do his statue unboxing later tonight. He would have to. We would have to. I would have to stay live for 6 hours. What do you mean, Artisan? Skull. Lane, I have to kind of keep this quiet a little bit, but I think we may be getting a little. I've got the wizard juice right here, and I feel like the Skull's calling us from the future. Apparently, you and I are 10 years in the past.
Oof. Well, I've got some of the bitter reality juice also ready to go.
The bitter reality of the wallets.
Well, yeah. How broke we're gonna be, or how broke within just like we talked about in the last 3 days. Some people might be looking between now and 2026 that they're gonna be. Man, it's been these days are always crazy. I'm interested to get your take too. Does this year with May the 4th feel as crazy as last year just because they had the like Dark Side event and everything? But this year, we had Celebration and those figures we're in that same kind of window. It's just so much stuff coming, and then of course, the secondary market. There's always a unique set of figures that might pop up when you least expect it. Some grails, or just something you hadn't seen for a long time just pops up on you, and then it's like, hey, you gonna pull the trigger or not and go get it, and what people are after.
Well, it does it feel the same? it feels like an absolute explosion of. It feels like an explosion in my savings. I mean, I don't even know how to keep up with all this. And the kicker for this year, too, is it just hasn't stopped. And I know we're talking about May 4th. And for everybody in the chat, you are watching the Market Show live. Go ahead and keep commenting in there. Go ahead and ask Lane anything. Go ahead and ask me anything. And looks like one of the ancient action figure theorists are asking me for a link, Lane. They're asking me for a link. I don't know if this is Reverend Possible or perhaps Dr. Wonder. Maybe it's the 13th Skull himself. You know, I did get this, Lane. I don't know what you think about this, but I heard that the Space Pimp is I heard the Space Pimp may want to be an actual panelist for Ancient Action Figure Season 2. Lane, are you excited about Ancient Action Figure Season 2?
It sounds it's going to be the top show, man. YouTube TV, can't miss it.
Well, I just sent one of these guys here. I don't know who it is because it's being very mysterious in this messaging. The link, so we'll see who pops in. For all we know, it'll be TK FOMO. Gosh, we haven't seen him in a long time, but I think we felt his effect.
I thought maybe Master T was reaching from beyond in the Force to maybe let you know that something, some more aliens might be. Since Sideshow just decided to drop a bunch of aliens on us, that
God,
Hot Toys might be trying to bring some more aliens to our collections.
Listen, the aliens is off the charts, but I got to ask you this. You know, last week's show, you know, I had a couple of calls right on that banner. And, you know, I did have Nihilus on the banner about 4 hours before he was actually announced. And a lot of you commented on that last week after my show. So listen, I think I deserve this. I think I deserve this clip first.
They call him the Wizard.
And magically, the Space Pimp, or is it brother cousins?
It may be the Space Pimp, baby. It may be the Space Pimp today. No, what's up, everybody?
Yeah, what is going on? Yeah. So listen, Jay, I was just telling Lane. Last week I put on Palpatine and I put on Nihilus, and like 4 hours later, and after the show ended, it was literally like an hour later, those figures were announced.
That's crazy.
It was crazy. Absolutely crazy.
But they just came out of nowhere. And I mean, it's funny because I think you had said that a couple of weeks prior. And then I'm sure you said it, like you said it on that, you said it on your show last week. And then next thing you know, here we are an hour later, there it is. It's crazy. It is a great time to be a Star Wars collector. It really is.
Hot Toys hit the ground running, man. And I know I've been mentioning Nihilus because, you know, that falls into what I was talking about during the intro. There are certain figures we could figure at some point they're coming. Last year, like we had Revan get announced. We had seen them going kind of into some of the games and stuff like that. So for look and style, the Nihilus is one of the most popular designs because, you know, if you've ever played the game, he's not really a character. He's a force of nature. He's there to be something big that might come and eat the galaxy kind of thing.
Right.
Well, you know,
but he has one of the most iconic. He has an iconic look, so I figured he would come. But until you see them pop up and like they go up for pre-order, you don't know 100%.
Well, I feel like, Lane, you're talking about how popular Nihilus is. And how often have we talked about it? So many people on these live shows that we do. They always talk about, you know, and I'm going back a couple of years ago. Howard, please give us a Revan.
Yeah.
Give us a Nihilus. Give us a Darth Malgus. Can you give us something like crazy, like a Dark Empire Luke? And I feel like Howard's been just taking some time. He put the audio books aside and he decided to put on Best of the Best and listen to all of Brother Cousin shows. And he's decided to put on 6-scale Raw, What You Gonna Do, and all of Aries' shows, and this one shows, and all these channel shows. And he said, oh, this is what you got? Let me see if I can deliver this all to you. It is absolutely, and let me tell you that the one that's got me the most out of all of these announcements, as I go ahead and fill up table 66 for the first time tonight, it is literally so freaking good.
Literally that scene. Like literally that.
Literally. That's one of my favorite scenes, boys, from Revenge of the Sith. And I'll be honest with you, in all of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And the fact that they unloaded that. And Jay, I know I was talking to you a lot about this DX34. And we were talking about the DX47, what came to pass.
Yeah.
But we were talking about, hey, how about some of these companion pieces? And this is definitely a great companion piece to both the DX34 and DX40.
It really is. It really is. As soon as I got my my Darth Vader Sith Apprentice, as soon as I got it last week, I was thinking right before this announcement, I was like, man, I really need to go get that Clone Wars Darth Sidious, because I think they're gonna look good together and all that. And then I thought about it and I was like, man, maybe it wasn't even an hour before we got the new Palpatine that we recently got. And I was like, wow, here it is. And then they did that whole picture with them together. I was like, that's just perfect. That's just what a good time to be a Star Wars collector. I mean, they're giving us every damn thing. It's ridiculous.
No, and I tell you, that freaking figure is just, and I think now tell me if I actually said this to you over the phone, Jay, but didn't I say that I got even more exciting about collecting again because of that Palpatine? Yep. I mean, I am literally that. I just didn't think that they, and honestly, to give us, and I'm putting this up onto the screen, and everybody, you are watching a May 4th special. May 4th special here. May the 4th be with you, of the Market Show Live. So ask the Dark Jedi anything about May 4th, perhaps what's coming tonight. You've seen that I already got a phone call from the 13th Skull. What's going to be coming over the next several hours. He said something's coming, Jay. So I have no idea, what we're looking at here over the next several hours. But while you're going ahead and asking me anything you want, and you're asking Lane anything, and you're asking Brother Cousins anything, while you're typing in, I'll get to all your comments. Don't forget to smash that like button. Go ahead and do it right now. Go ahead and get that going. But Jay, and Lane, let me pull this up onto the screen because I just love looking at it. Right here. It's just, and let's see if I can pull it up where I can make it big. Okay. This is everything that I'm looking for in a figure. But the thing that is most impressive, I mean, just look at that. It comes with two head sculpts starting with you, Jay. It comes with two head sculpts.
Yeah.
And this, so people always ask, what is a DX? What's a DX? What's a DX? I actually think this is way more of a DX than some of the DXs we got in the past.
This should have been a DX. And this takes me, and I said this last night on Mafia's stream last night, Tales from the Dark Side. This is what Hot Toys used to be. This takes me back to 2009, 2000, from 2009 to 2014, when Hot Toys really had something to prove. Before that Disney license was they really kicked in gear with that. They had to prove themselves. They know McFarlane, even Neko or Rail Toys at the time was way bigger names than what they were. So they had been producing toys at that time, but they still needed to they needed to really jump out there and really make themselves known. And they had a lot to prove at that time. So they was giving us everything in a box. We were talking about different looks of the outfit, different head sculpts. And no, guys, these were not DX figures. They were just standard edition figures. Then we got the DX figures, which gave us a little bit prettier packaging, and they were giving us 2 figures, just like the first Star Wars figure, that Bespin Luke, or the what was another one? Damn it, one just slipped my mind. It was
Michael Jackson.
The Michael Jackson.
Mhm.
The what is the other one? The Bruce Lee. That one came.
DX34.
Elaborate diorama. A lot of stuff. But this takes me back to that, and I think this was a good way to sell a Palpatine, because Palpatine, in the eyes of a person that's, let's just say, a general Star Wars fan that's just getting into it. Of course, they would probably at today's date, they would probably want a Mando, they would probably want an Anakin, and and that's it. So to make sure they sealed the deal with seasoned collectors along with newer collectors, they also gave you as much value as possible with giving you 2 head sculpts, different looks in the outfit and everything. And this is just great. This is exactly what we wanted. We have been, talking about this for years, and the fact that they did it, and they did it like this is dare I say it, this is one of the biggest announcements of the year.
No, it really, really is. It is one of the biggest announcements of the year, and one of the coolest sets that you can play with if you're able to get both of these figures from one of the coolest scenes ever. And before Elaine, I get to you, as we look at some of these pictures here of what Hot Toys is doing, let's say hi to some of the folks that are in here. We have got Preston Hoskins in the house. What is going on? I canceled my Darth Sidious special edition to get this Darth Sidious. Look, I totally get it. Because this one is absolutely off the charts. The Big Dog Pound is in the house, and Big Dog Pound, welcome in here. If you two guys want to join me on the count of 3, 1, 2. Woo! Good to have you in here,
Ric
brother.
Flair is not worrying about us stealing. Ric Flair is not worrying about us stealing his gimmick.
No. The songwriters in the house. They like and subscribe and share. Thank you so much. Good to have single songwriter in here. And Eric Henke's in the house, an official 6-scale Cantina ancient action figure theorist and member here. Good to have you in here, Eric. And here's something. We heard that there is an artisan and sculpted version Darkside Anakin from Revenge of the Sith that could drop after midnight tonight. We will see. And I think you have to wonder, is this what they call
They call him the Wizard.
Peter, I hope you got a good connect and not just wishful thinking, because you're giving a lot of people hope out here.
Now, here's one thing. When I was going on checking a look here, Wayne and Jay and Peter and everybody in the chat, I forgot it was Toys Buying Agent, maybe it was Toys Ensemble, maybe it was Toys for Adults. It was one of those sites. And it was clearly stated, I didn't have time before the show, but I remember seeing it just about yesterday or the day before, that it was, hey, a lot of these now are coming from overseas if you want to get it in the shipper box. Because if you got from the 1500, that came from Japan. And it was funny because, there's no shipper box. And I was talking to Victoria from Victoria's Cantina. Shout out to her. Messaging back and forth earlier today about that. But then when you go to Toys for Adults and you see some of those, you're seeing the box that says DX47, the shipper box on it. And then I was seeing in a couple of those places, now don't say it is gospel, that it was just 500 in China. So you do have to ask yourself, gentlemen, is it possible that the other 500, because 500 in China would mean 2,000, there's 500 left. Could it be for, Revenge of the 6th? Or maybe tomorrow or sometime this week? Lane, could we be getting 500 from Sideshow?
I would hope, man. But even
I would hope too.
That'd be mega bloodbath mode engaged.
Yeah.
I mean, that might cause. Here's my one to the devil's advocate. That might cause more consternation in the community, especially if the American part of the community. If there's only 500, just because even for a lot of the past, exclusives, we've usually gotten at least half or more of the number available. And if it is that way, then it's good Sideshow has whatever this new system that they're using for the countdown, because it might keep the site from crashing into oblivion. Because I think the way that figure has been handled, I kind of get why they did it super exclusive, because it was a celebration figure. Right. That's what it was probably made to be. And they want that to be something and it was in Japan and people were calling all over from there. They want to make it something really special for there. So it's going to be one of those figures that is always, especially though it's just an insert, there are people, there are two different versions of it now, even. So one might be forever, whatever silly reason, might be coveted just a slightly bit more even between the two. So,
but you may be onto something though. Yeah. Also, when you're saying, Lane, that it may be more trouble than what it's worth offering 500 here, because that's going to be how frustrated were people, brother cousins, with, quite frankly, the Scarlet Witch only 2,500, because that went out really, really quick. And the God Loki. I mean, we've had quite a few artisans. Honestly, even with the Tom Holland Spider-Man, I think that was 4,000, like the Jack Sparrow and the Joker. But 500 Anakins, that's that's a tough pill to swallow.
It's so less of an amount till it's almost not even worth the headache of sight. And look, I don't want to sound like an elitist. I don't want to sound like, well, I got mine, so I don't want to give anybody else hope. That's not what this is. What this is, 500. And we already know it's going to be well over 5,000 people that are going to be in that queue. Oh. It is, for me, for Sideshow, I almost wouldn't even want to deal with it. Honestly. I think that's way too low of a count.
So when you talk about how many people would want this figure, when you talk about 5,000, because you're seeing that next to Palps. And again, you guys are watching a Market Show Live, a very special edition of the Market Show Live, because it's May 4th, baby. So please go ahead and smash that like button and ask anyone on the panel, ask us anything. Go ahead and type it in there. But let's get back to this Palps, because this is the figure for me. But when you want to talk about that DX47, let's go ahead and pull some of this up. And I'm pulling this up on the screen because it ends in 4 hours.
Wow.
24 minutes.
155 viewed in the last 24 hours.
For a Hot Toys figure.
Guys, it's 25 bids at $13.25 on one single Hot Toys figure. $13.25. And so my point with this is, maybe, Jay, you're saying 5,000. Maybe there may be 15,000 collectors that come in that get wind of this. Like, I don't want to spend $1,700 on this. Even if there's 10,000 in there, it's a better chance than winning the lottery, I guess. I might as well go in and give it a shot. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like if they do this, that queue may be busted.
It's going to crash. Just like Preston Hoskins just said, it's that queue will crash. It is too. I mean, especially for something like this, it's weird that they did it like that. I wish they were able to get a few more, at least have a, because it would have been nice if they did 1,500 for celebration and another 1,000 directly to Sideshow, or 1,500 to should have been a lot of 3,000. 1,500 to side, 1,500 to Sideshow, and 1,500 to celebration, and that's what, at least that would make more sense. I don't think we've ever seen it be as low as 500.
Yeah,
it could be zero. It literally legitimately could be zero.
Yeah,
too.
Well, I mean, how bad? Now. I'm trying to go to a low one. How bad was? Does anyone remember how bad the Wonder Woman WB 100 was? The first Artisan, if you will, because that was, how many was that on Sideshow? Is that the whole 1,500?
I think it was the whole 1,500, because I think they put it. Yeah, they put it in the description, so it was 1,500. And I mean, they didn't let nobody. I don't even think at that time there was even a queue. It was just like it went up. And they sent you an email about it, and by the time you got that email, it was already gone. It was just one of those things, you just had to be on it. I don't remember, if I could be wrong, but I do not remember it being, hey, what's up? I do not remember it being in a actual queue with the little blue screen or any the little blue line or any of that.
Yeah, and Eric Hankey asks here, are we getting Count Dooku 2.0? Are we getting Count Dooku 2.0? Look, I've been saying for a while that I really thought I'm surprised they haven't 2.0'd it yet. But keep your eye out tonight, baby.
I'm looking forward to this.
Because again, Lane, like we were just talking about with Brother Cousins, we're talking about Palpatine. What figure goes with these Anakins really well, or especially the DX34? It's Dooku, which I just flashed on the screen.
Absolutely. Well, and they gave us the Dooku lightsaber, especially with the Artisan Anakin. They gave us that lightsaber, but they didn't give us a lit lightsaber, a USB lit lightsaber as well. So that may be because they're going to do that Dooku 2.0, and that's just another thing to push collectors to get it. Like, I already got the Dooku, but I do need that lightsaber USB, so let me go get that and throw that with Anakin and really complete that scene. So,
well, we'll keep an eye on this auction during the show, because we'll bite into half of its life left with 4 hours left. Giving you a little bit more of DX47 as we get back to that Palpatine. This sold on May 4th at 8:31 a.m. And let's see how much it sold for from the Toy Vault store, with $44,741 at a very cheap price. Lane, only $1,399.99.
Well, plus tax and shipping.
Yeah, if they're trying to, if we're trying to make that Palpatine figure seem like a really good deal, we're doing a very good job of it right now. It's a good deal as a figure to pick up with, because as much as I like this figure, this is when you can make an argument about where Jay was talking about earlier, that Hot Toys doesn't put as much stuff into some of their figures like DXs and stuff, where we see a change. This guy literally really doesn't come with enough, I think, like as a DX. It's very cool, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's going to be the figure itself, but its original retail price was like $450. So it's just a $450 original figure by itself, just for the leaving out the desire and the exclusivity and stuff. What it comes with, you can make the argument, well, it's going to come less with what Palpatine came. So why is it $450 just to originally buy it versus $285? I think that's how much he is on Sideshow right now. But it's still, I mean, what people have been waiting for. Anakin, because especially in the last 5 years, we've got to see like Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader. So we've got to see him actually in the suit, like battle damage, and see, oh, there's young, younger-ish, late 30s Anakin Skywalker, what he's become. So we got to see the actor who played the original non-battle damage version in that role. And even with Ahsoka, whatever, I mean, the show was kind of mid with some of its storytelling, but you got to see kind of Force Ghost redeemed Anakin actually doing something a little bit. One thing, even back to original trilogy or EU, we never got to see. So we get to see him being active a little bit, as kind of counterbalance, starting to do that balance in the Force for all the devastation he caused, at least for some people he knows. He's trying to do some good, as he's attained his full, like maybe what you could say is full true power.
And that's the thing. And it's sad that Hot Toys does this, but and Lane, you couldn't be more right, because the thing of it is it's I wouldn't even call it a DX. It really shouldn't even be called a DX. But the fact that we're paying, and Hot Toys knows that you're paying for the popularity of the character. That's the thing. They know how popular this character is. Like you said, he transcends 2 eras of Star Wars. He's done something that only few actors have done in those roles. He's still active physically and in this role, in both roles, as Darth Vader and Anakin to this day. And they know he's popular like that. A lot of girls grew up, a lot of people grew up idolizing him and loving him. Shoot, my mom loves this guy. One of the reasons why I have this one is my mom was like, you got to get it. So the fact that it's Hayden, the fact that he is Vader and Anakin and is active in these shows right now, he is right now, I've said it, he is the most popular, going by sales, going by analytics, and just what we're seeing in this community and what we're seeing right here on screen. This is the most popular character in Star Wars right now. And
he seems to be the GOAT. He seems to be, the GOAT right now when it comes to Star Wars, Jay. You're right. And look, I hate to say that this was, this one was actually from a few days ago, and they're actually, or several days ago. They're rising higher now, these prices, and you see like the one I had up before. And we can't discount the tariffs either from a lot of our, Hong Kong resellers, and certainly, I mean, you're talking about 145% tariff, So I mean that is just.
But even this guy, even if you leave out, because some of these might be a little bit inflated too, just because of the eBay, fees people have to pay and everything.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
But even if you go on BSTs where people are selling them, it's like 1,100, like between 1,100 and maybe 1,250. So if you they're basically in the same price range what people are asking for these, just subtracting the eBay fees. Basically, and they're still asking you to pay shipping as well, but they might be in the United States or something. So you can't just look at BSTs being, well, these are cheaper. It's like, no, these are maybe a little inflated because of what the eBay fee stuff. But whether on a BST or whether on eBay, you're probably going to be paying roughly the same amount or something. Just people would be asking if there was no eBay and they were having to ask for Facebook, the pricing would probably be similar. But this Palpatine, I know you guys are both in on this one.
Well, there's 2 looks for so he changes, because Lane, I want to get into also this Palpatine is off the charts. I feel like if you're a collector and you want the other Darth Sidious that's up there for Revenge of the Sith that's still up for pre-order, that you absolutely can get it, because there's 2 different polarizing personalities of the Emperor. One of them being this one, where he really has this deeper voice and a different substance here. It's very much, and I'll play this clip for you, which I play all the time for table 66 in here, it has a different, tone.
Good.
I just love that scene.
And then he changes. But
Yeah.
then he changes into the Darth Sidious that is this, literally, Jay and Lane, about 4 minutes later into this.
Once more, the Sith will rule the galaxy. And we shall have
And of course, that is all the Palpatine.
He goes lighter voice. It's a lighter voice, and it's
Yeah.
much more the hands.
Yeah, well, I was gonna
Oh,
say, I was gonna say you have this is the more serious, like this scene. This is the more serious sort, and I'm putting in quotes, sort of subdued and Palpatine. I mean, this is Ian McDermott turning his hammy.
Yeah, this looks like he just smoked a joint
11.
or something.
Like this is him smashing turn my ability up to 11. However, but to compare it, because I am actually not getting this one. I am keeping. I prefer the look of the Revenge of the first one, which is the Yoda. This is I look at them. This is the Anakin turn Palpatine, and the other one is the Yoda duel Palpatine, because that's literally the main things that happen in those looks. But the sculpts for both of these two are completely different with the facial expression. The Emperor's laughing and maniacally and stuff. This is more good Palpatine. The other one is more I've been waiting for this day, my little green friend. Palpatine. That's just letting his true self just run completely crazy for how maniacal and evil he is. Is he's enjoying himself now that he gets to, I'm evil and I'm gonna just be as evil as I want to be in that scene with Yoda. So I actually like the laughing maniacal evil head sculpt better, even though I think this one.
Well, that's the not to cut you off, Lane, but I think you like the evil maniacal one with the laugh better because you like what Howard is doing to your wallet.
I like him making me spend more money. Excluding the part here where he's doing the whole unlimited power thing. I mean that's kind of the same for both of them, but I love the look to this one. I like this figure is amazing. I do, this is I'm kind of counting this one as our kind of first of main Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary figures. This is kind of the first of I'm considering part of that. I just think what you get with this one, how he goes really good, whether with the evil Sith Eyes Anakin or with the Artisan Anakin, it's a really good pairing. What you guys were talking about, I really, really am hoping, within the next couple weeks, as part of or at some point this year, as part of the 20th anniversary. I know we've talked about it a couple times. I don't think they're going to do another Artisan Anakin. I think you had the Artisan Anakin. I think you had that Sith.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're bringing that up because I blew this up on purpose because, Lane, you're the one that first reached out to me, Lane, that said, hey, some collectors are saying, and I've seen some of the comments, the eyes are different. So I did blow it up on my end, my Photoshop and that, and I actually called you, brother cousins, and I said, I'm kind of torn between this because I 1000% can see Hot Toys doing this. I don't think that they did. I don't think they have the personnel power to make 10,000 Anakin's, artisan with the rooted hair. But I could see them doing it. But honestly, the eyes look the same to me. They don't look yellow. I think it's just the lighting. But I could be wrong. But that was my opinion. Jay, I think I called you and told you that.
Aries, I can send you this right now because I think it is I just took a real nice picture of him yesterday, and you get a real good close up on the eye. And I'm looking at this picture that I've taken, and I had the lights up a little bit because I used my iPhone to do it. The eyes look exactly the same. This is the same figure. This is the Darth Vader Sith Apprentice. This is
Now
not
you said to be a picture.
I'm about to send it to you
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
whenever you
Yep.
send it. But,
Yep.
but real quick, as we're talking about this, and you guys and everybody, you're watching the market show live on May 4th, baby. So ask Lane, ask Brother Cousins, ask the Dark Jedi anything about May 4th. What's coming tonight? What's coming tomorrow morning? What are you looking forward to? What's your predictions? What do you think about all of this? But Big Dog Pound with the $1.99. And listen, that super chat is so freaking good.
It's
much thanks to the Big Dog Pound. All right, so how do I put this up on here? So now it's you sent it to
You
me.
can already see it.
I can already see it. Let me see if I can blow this up.
I wanted to, as we're getting ready to
lower
pull
this a
that
little.
up.
Okay. So
There
which
we
one do I pull up?
Click on that one right there. And as you can see, those eyes, the eyes look exactly the same to
They're
what we see.
yellowish.
Yeah.
I see more of the yellowish.
Now,
feel.
is that your?
Sometimes
Yeah,
That's mine.
Yeah, they
Yep.
do. Yeah,
It's just
the lighting.
It's just how the light is. They're just messing with lighting. That's all they're doing. It's the same figure. It's the same figure.
Hair looks nice.
It does.
It looks so good. But here's the thing: did they actually label? And like I said, haven't taken it out of the box yet, and I've had the DX47 since Monday, but I was away on business. But I can't wait to open the freaking thing up. Did they actually label this Revenge of the Sith or Ahsoka,
No.
or they just okay? So that
No.
is technically, guys, right? An opportunity in the future, or maybe that's the reason why we didn't get the sculpted versions. What do you both think?
Really, what it came down to, what this looks like, it's a cross between what it looks like is that they were doing the Ahsoka line. We already know that they went deep in with that Ahsoka line, and they had an idea of making this the Anakin from Ahsoka, because a quote from Ahsoka is on the inside of the box. It's right there. So this really was like a quote. This really was like the Ahsoka dark side Anakin. Really, that's what it is. But I guess when Celebration came around and they realized that they were going to have Hot Toys was going to have such a big presence at Celebration, they wanted, like Lane said, they wanted to give people something a little special. And Galen Erso was great, but I think this is it. Come on, Galen Erso, Baby Yoda, those were great, but we all know that this was the star of that show. Let's be honest.
And the other thing might be too is I think the pre-orders on the Ahsoka show have not been great, and the sales have on the overall whatever we think of the quality of the figures, excluding maybe the Ahsoka herself, which is had the bad elbow issues again, but excluding that, they all look great. And like every one of them turned out very nice looking. But I think I think they may have pivoted, like this was being planned, like you said, maybe even not originally as an artisan figure, but I think at some point during development, because they did 14 figures for pre-order, or 15, maybe including the Death Trooper, which was exclusive.
And they already have another, and they have the Pretty Boy Anakin too. So if they dropped this one, that Pretty Boy Anakin was not going to sell like that. I think everybody would be after this.
Yeah. So I think at some point because obviously they started this probably a couple years ago, I think pivoted at some point. And then they really like, hey, we need to make a big statement at Celebration for ourselves. Especially because Disney Star Wars has kind of been at a crossroads the last year and a half. I mean, they didn't do any Andor season 1 and some of the or Skeleton Crew. So I think this was at some point, maybe like a year ago, they decided to pivot. And that also could be the reason why it's been delayed a little bit. People getting Artisan Anakin and such. They wanted to have the timing for these kind of around each other too.
Yeah, and that's why I'm wondering if I got to fill up table 66 again, actually, before I can finish my thought. That's definitely.
What are lives?
But he's in a different mood. Let's play that again. He's not cackling in this.
Like what I have, whatever.
I would have been like, I'm
honestly-
changing my mind on being your apprentice after that. I don't like how you said that good.
Yeah,
I don't like how I'm bending down either.
I just don't know right now and everything, just with like how with our lives have been as fruitful and complete over the last 20 years without some of the lines from this movie, where whether meme or otherwise, that if we had not had them, like this and hello there.
Right. You're talking about like because it's a line, the lines from the
yeah, the movie where just it's funny too is this emperor and I was gonna ask, so for you two guys in chat too, I always try and take the high ground, but usually end up up to my chest in the water.
You made it funny.
Sorry.
At the club store.
I wear seems like half the stuff. But between this Palpatine and the Revenge of the Sith, which of the head sculpt do you think overall has come out better? Now, just keep in mind it is always possible because Hot Toys does this. There could be some improvements, like the day before the first Revenge of the Sith Palpatine comes out, we're like, oh hey, like they put some more detail or something like that into the wrinkles. But
I like them both. And great question, Lay, because Jay, I was talking to you about this over the phone as well. I've got to have both because he's like, again, he's that good here, kind of that more relaxed and very like super monster, and then more of this crazy nut job here with the one that's been on pre-order since like that one, the one with the clip I just played, doesn't go as well, goes very well with Yoda. This one would go fine with Yoda, but the other one goes better. So for me, I've got to have them both because it's almost like this guy has two different personalities, Jay. Two different personalities, Jay.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. And we had that conversation and you sold me on that. I was like, damn, you're right. Because right here, it's a different mode. It's a different mode that he's in. And we know right here you have the two modes. You had him being that Darth Sidious, but that scene when he was just laughing, he's full on Palpatine, full confident, full in battle mode and having fun with it. Right here, he's still somewhat reserved. He's monstrous. We know who he is at this point. He's revealed, but he's still putting on he's kind of still putting on a little bit. But in that other mode with Yoda, he's in battle mode. And I for the people that are thinking of like getting out to get this, if you can only get, I will say this, if you can only get one, I think this is the one to get because you have so many, you have him as a politician. You have two head sculpts. You have him as a politician, and this will go with Yoda fine if you wanted to, but the other one would work out better for the for the collection completionist. You would get both, and I think you would be fine.
Now, here's the thing, gentlemen, and here's why I have a little bit of faith that this is coming for the queue for Sideshow. That would really suck if they're teasing all these American and European customers with this dark side version that they can't get except spend $1,500 to $2,000. So I would hope the fact that they put this in here is an indication that, hey, by the way, you're going to get your few hundred pieces, which again, don't they, Lane, do that with Iron Man? Like 300 limited. So I guess maybe this would be more for them.
I think they just need to like really at some point this year, they need to get out a sculpted dark side Anakin.
Well, there's definitely a reason why they haven't. With your this head sculpt is, and I had both the other ones, is just they're far superior than the older ones. The older ones are great. Just what they're doing now is better.
Just call it
But
something
what did they
different.
want? It's make money from the sculpted versions.
Just if you want to keep Darkside Anakin just with the old name, like they did with this is Darth Vader Sith Apprentice. It's just as simple for a new sculpted with using this head sculpt and really that refined hair that they're able to do now with the sculpted, and simply just have it be like, Anakin Skywalker Mustafar Showdown or something.
I wouldn't be shocked if they did that. Honestly, I think
and don't have the little droid or anything like that. Maybe they could have a little bit of a type of diorama that's like that right after that when they're on that where him and Obi-Wan are on that little moving platform that Obi-Wan's on, where they have the kind of final strikes before Obi-Wan gets the high ground something like that.
They can also do one, I don't know, some type of diorama with because they were in like that control room. I think they were like in a
control room or on that bridge part or something like that before it's broke out.
The bridge.
Just have because they've done now, hopefully better, but like they've done where they had the Bo-Katan, which had that stupid piece to attach. It kind of gave you a bridge railing kind of thing. They could do something simple like that. Yeah. And I think people will be all over for it. They should try and do another artisan figure, but I think they may be switching their art. They only have so much time and resources to put in artisan figures. So I think they might be moving like to Kenobi or some other license or something like that. They're probably some Marvel. I think we got this one is because it was easy for them to do. They were developing it already, or they already had the base with the original Artisan Anakin, and was just like, hey, okay, we've redone the head sculpt. Let's just up our order from originally 3,000 up it to like 5,500 or something.
Yeah, well, Matt, I imagine next week is Thunderbolts week as well, and maybe actually later this week. Yeah, because it's been a whole lot.
Well, people have seen it. It was pretty fun. Thunderbolt.
I loved it.
Yeah. I need a Kenobi 2.0. Is it possible? Is it possible that, tonight, Lane, what you're thinking, maybe a rooted Kenobi from Revenge of the Mixed Sith?
They call him the Wizard.
Let you do your what if where Yoda wanted to fight Anakin and Obi-Wan tried to fight the Emperor, and you can see how Obi-Wan would have died painfully.
Well, Charlie put DS Anakin with leather goods. Well, why couldn't we have gotten leather with this? It's just,
that is the one.
With the Anakin anyway, but yeah.
For $400+ for both of these. For $400.
It's ridiculous. And I did a review on the Darth Vader Sith Apprentice. And that was one of my biggest things. Like, for the rooted hair and how good that sculpt is, yeah, I can see why they charge $400 something. Because if you went and had an artisan do this, or you had you had somebody, you outsourced somebody to go and do a sculpt and do a rooted hair for you, you would probably pay about $200 on top of what the figure costs. So the price does make sense. But with the artisan being their high-end line, it makes no sense that we don't get leather tabards. It just doesn't make sense. At least.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it really doesn't.
But it's nitpicks about the thing too. Are we still going to buy it? Yeah, because we really like the character.
Exactly.
Well, look at the deal. Look at the deal here, though. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. This is one of the best. This two display styles. It's like you have two different characters in one figure. And I know we were talking about that earlier, but I think that for me so far with May 4th, everything this is. I mean, this is unbelievable to be able to have Palpatine, Darth Sidious like this, and then you can. It's like amazing. And I hope
they
Hot
did-
Toys does more. This should have been a DX. If they would have labeled this a DX, I wouldn't even have mentioned it. It should be a DX.
or even
Yeah.
just even if not an artisan, just a deluxe. Like this is the deluxe. It's blah 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 deluxe figure. That's what simply for the artisan like Anakin, like the Darth Vader. They could have just called it Darth Vader Apprentice Deluxe without the without the DX47 or something. But this is
No, it is absolutely just so freaking cool.
And they made sure to include this Sidious with the little lightning strip stuff just built onto separate hands, just like with the Darth Sidious from Clone Wars. Like having the lightning stuff just attached directly, having hands that have you shooting the lightning off of them. Like, oh, you guys didn't leave those out or something like that. You knew, like, hey, this is going to make it super easy for people who want to show force lightning being shot instead of having to attach stuff or whatever around the arms or whatever. So that was really good too. That looks like a release. They did everything right in theory until we get it in hand.
Until we get it in hand, and I hope it stays that way. Lane and Eric, an official 6-scale Cantina, ancient action figures theorist with the $5 bomb. It is awesome. Let's bomb it, baby. Boys is blowing up my wall with all these freaking artisans and Star Wars figures. Listen, says I see Revenge of the Sith Artisan Anakin Darkside 2.0 and Obi-Wan Kenobi Artisan Summer exclusive. So, with the $5 bomb, I got to play this for you too.
They call him the Wizard.
I'm going to go to Jay with this one because, Lane, this was something that you were bringing up, that you thought that maybe they I always talked about that they're changing the name to the appropriate name, which is Darth Vader, because the Emperor didn't go henceforth you are now Dark Side Anakin. He said you're Darth Vader. However, if they wanted to get cute, they could be like, oh, wait a minute, this ain't the Sith Apprentice, Jay. This is the Dark Side version, and it's Revenge of the Sith, and we are redoing it, and it's not the Japan exclusive. So what do you think about what Eric's saying here? What do you think?
What's up, Eric? That's my guy right there, man. Oh man, I think there's a possibility. There's definitely a possibility. I think they know, and it's funny. I was just looking at the original write-up for the Darth Vader Sith Apprentice, and they did that whole statement of, we know that a lot of people are eager to have this version of Anakin on their shelves, and it's like, okay, so you made one and a super exclusive for 4,000 artisan version, then you do this one, which is even more exclusive, giving us another bite at the apple, which is just not fair. So I'm thinking that they're gonna give you another one. The thing of it is the timing. That's what has me. I think it would be crazy if they give us another one like right now, like another one. Oh yeah, another Anakin is coming. I think that would be a little much. It would give a lot of people hope, and it would make a lot of people happy, and I think that would be good.
But it may piss some people off. Like, would they do? Because didn't they put out that the Rogue One Range Trooper? They have the exclusive, and then they put out a slightly different version. Now it's one's more gray and one's more white. One has different weathering.
Yeah,
but it's essentially the same figure. So
you're actually getting more with that one because you get swap out boots.
so imagine if they 2.0'd it and maybe they changed the sculpt slightly, and like they did with the Dark Side version of DX47, and they give you leather.
It's a possibility.
That figure was the first time ever that Jay had to actually shut up about boots not being an accessory.
Absolutely.
At least for the first edition. Now, as soon as we get past the 30 days, then once, because hey, the quote regular edition,
right?
You can literally say this you can, if Jay just has to do it, he can hold up. This is boots as an accessory. For the one that'll have a sticker that says First Day Edition, you'll have guys. Jay might just be, because he's been on this bandwagon for years, be just this obsessive, where he's gonna pre-order one and pre-order one like the day after that expires. This one, so you could just point just for one stream and go, this is not boots' accessory.
Exactly.
Wait, I just say he was consistent for his entire streaming life.
Yep.
Wayne, I just got a text
from
Dr. Wonder, one of our ancient action figure panelists on the Ancient Action Figures show. And he said that we're going to be getting a very tall villain, perhaps. And, Dr. Wonder is not necessarily the greatest with predictions, but he asked me to play this for you so you could figure out exactly who I mean by this tall villain.
Fulfill your destiny.
And Lay's favorite film
of
all time.
As long as the villain is not taller than Darth Malgus, because then we're starting to get into 21 inches of Venom size.
Oh my god!
For a Hot Toys figure. But yeah, man. Like
actually, this is my prediction for tonight. We're gonna get this 2-pack. I'm playing it for Eric for the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Eric. And here's what I'm gonna play for you, buddy.
You're delicious. Ciao, boys.
Well, hey.
makes you not one pizza for a day.
So, yeah, pretty much. But no, I actually ate pizza before we came on here. I didn't think about that beforehand, but if I start feeling queasy later, I know why. So I have a question for you guys, just real quickly, before we got moving on to the next figure. This is meant just for like a minute for you guys to comment on. So as you guys might have seen, with the Scum and Villainy release and stuff by Sideshow, Hot Toys is put up their Jabba the Hutt 1/6 scale figure.
Yeah.
Now, Aries, I doubt you probably just. I'm sure 50 people may have sent some brother cousins or something, because we all like to say as soon as we pop up. That Jabba the Hutt has gone back up for pre-order. Aries, it's over $1,000 though now to buy it.
You're talking about the Sideshow Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, the one their 1/6 scale is coming back available again. Yep. And it's coming up for $1,025. What I wanted to just spend a minute, and I'm sure Cousins, you'll probably either talk about that or something you might even talk about. So don't give your full thoughts. There's more Aries maybe give his full thoughts, but just your first impression. What do you feel about them raising the price on a product they've already had? It's not a new product. They haven't said there's nothing new about Jabba's made out of new kind of plastic or something like that, which would make it more expensive. But they've raised it from, I think even the last time they reissued it or had it like $100 more. It was like $49 originally.
Big Bro got it in 2019. It was my third video on my channel. And he got it and we unboxed it and it was $785 then. Probably about $800 taking it home. And that was shipping everything. In 2019, and what it looks like like you said, they didn't change anything. So I look at it like this: it's two things. One, inflation. That was five, almost 6 years ago. That's one. It's almost 6 years ago. Two, is the tariff prices baked into that? Because if that is,
they're going to charge you for the tariff prices if they're still around.
Yeah, if it's baked in now, if somebody pays that and it comes, what is it? It's supposed to be shipping in November until next year. If it ships in November and it's that price plus shipping plus tariffs, that's a problem. That's just them being greedy. But if they baked in the tariff price in that, that's just what it is.
And there it is. Yeah. What we're talking about here for $1,025 for that Jabba the Hutt. Well, I will tell you that, and maybe I'm just not, I feel like with this, I'm not sure how much better Hot Toys is going to make this than what Sideshow already has. I think that this is I've seen this before. This is absolutely unbelievable, and I do think that Hot Toys and Sideshow collaborate on a lot of these releases, and I'm pretty sure what's going on here is, you guys take care of Scum and Villainy. We're going to put out these. I mean, there's going to be some crossover figures like Vader's, Luke's, some in statues, some in quarter scales, like that awesome X-Wing one that came out, so on and so forth. But I don't have a problem with this, exactly for what Jay said, because of inflation. I have actually been a little surprised with Hot Toys that they have been able to stay within the $200 range, meaning like, high 200s with some of these figures, for as long as they have for right now. And I'm pulling this up actually onto the screen because, I want to actually pull up some of these, and so we were just talking about the Sidious one. So, for $285, pulling this up on the screen for a figure that I really think should be a DX when they put out figures that aren't. And everything that this comes with for $285 is a fracking bargain, Lane.
Yeah.
This is a bargain. This is just unbelievable. I don't have a problem with the Jabba, and I really don't have a problem with this. And I know now you're going to get the tariff. So when you put this in your cart, or when it comes in, you're going to have that $20 to $30 extra charge for the tariffs. Honestly, I'm surprised that this, how is Cobb Vanth $305 and this is $285? I'm just being honest. How was Mighty Thor $305?
Yeah.
$285. I don't know.
Do you think his popularity, and once again, going back to the popularity of the character, but I would think Darth Sidious is more popular than James
Chris Hemsworth
Foster
license
Cole?
you right. See, Ian McDermott versus Chris Hemsworth probably pricing. This is this because if this was like an animated version of the characters or something, probably not. But because there is actual actor likeness, I'm willing to bet Chris Hemsworth is a lot more, because Ian McDermott is older. It's not like he's a major movie star outside of this role. Chris Hemsworth has made tons of money. He's got likeness. I'm sure his likeness rights are more, maybe not, are much more expensive than Palpatine.
Well,
so that may affect some of that a little bit. That's not necessarily the whole reason, but also maybe at the time when that came available, the MCU was still on a little bit higher crest or something like that.
Yeah.
This could be older movie rights too, maybe.
It could be.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Let me play this for Songwriter, as he says the actors some of them could be snobs in real life. Maybe.
Of course I want a latte. I love the way you make them.
Look, that could be the licensing there, for sure. But come on, $285. And let me go back to this because I wanted to bring that up. So, real quick, gentlemen, happy or just satisfied or happy with $285, the price for that Palpatine? Whether you're going to buy it, Lane, you're not. Jay, it seems like you are. $285 to me. This is. I'm happy.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy. Now, we all know that translates. That $285 translates to about $315, $325 or something like that with shipping, tax, and all that other stuff. And then also tariffs got to adjust in for that. So it's $285, but with everything that's going on in the world, it's more like $355.
305.
All right, hey, listen, guys. I just have to say, as we get ready, and we'll go back to the screen to talk a little bit of Misa Jar Binks here. I really just have to say that the 13th skull and all his predictions about these figures in the crypt. Come on now. Yeah, we've just got two of them. Jar Jar from the past, Poe Dameron from the past. They look a whole lot better now. But I had a funny feeling going with you, Jay, on this one.
Yep.
That Jar Jar Binks was coming for May 4th. And I was just lucky here to be right. But what do you mean? Well, Miso wants to know what you think of this figure, baby.
I think it's wonderful. My only, and not even a problem with the figure. I think what they gave us with this figure is amazing. The seamless joints, the magnetic tongue, the bendable ears, the different expressions in his face. You can make him happy. You can make him sad. You could do a lot. He's very versatile. He really is. That's the way I'll have him pose with the all goofy like. My daughter will love that. That right there too. That's just fun.
Yeah, I mean, wow.
I think it's everything I wanted in the Jar Jar Binks figure, honestly. Now, one thing that they could have done that I thought that they were going to do, it would have made this sell even better, was to give him to us in a 2-pack with little Annie, Jake Lloyd.
Oh gosh,
that would have been perfect. We would have every iteration of Darth Vader we needed.
And they don't do kid actors stuff.
They really don't. And I know some people are like, well, they did Ariana Greenblatt. I'm like, yeah, but she's Ahsoka and she's like 16 like now, so it's a little.
But however, we can make the thing. It's maybe that doesn't mean you could not maybe see him at some point, because we've seen the Harry Potter done in 1/6 scale, and those, the youngest version of the Hermione and Ron and Harry. So it's not impossible that they might do it, but they that might be Disney doesn't want that can be tied in with Disney and stuff like that.
Or they could just give it. They probably like, look, we can sell you him in a pod racer and call it a day. And I think a lot of collectors would get that.
And they've given us Mutant Baby Luke. So I mean.
They did.
Well, and here's my thing with this figure, gentlemen. I mean, look at this magnetic attachable tongue. Unfreaking believable. And 2 pairs of interchangeable eyes. Unbelievable. 2 interchangeable face sculpts. Okay. Wow. They're giving you a lot of stuff. But you do have to wonder why. Why do I have the return of the sand base? Why is the sand base there? I never want to see it again. And I just seen it again.
At least this one doesn't have human feet on it. It doesn't. Now that doesn't.
Oh no! When it comes out, it will. The production will. The production will.
Hard.
So so the J can get up there, have Jar Jar on one hand, and like have IG-11 in the other, going, "Why hot toy? Do you know what feet look like?" I know we're not asking you to be a foot fetish, but look at the base. That's human feet. That's robot feet. That's 3-toe, giant toe Gungan feet. And this is a human boot. This is what they look like. You need to go back to the sculptors. Go back to, whoever is doing the bases and realize if you're going to have footprints on the sand, you got to make sure that you have the correct feet that match up with the character. That's all you got to do. People still wouldn't love it, but at least it would kind of match.
I just I would like to just see like them in the warehouse and Howard going through there and on the guys, and they're like, all right, these bases have human feet though. What are we going to do? And Howard's like, that's not going to stop them from buying it. Just throw it in the damn box. I bet it's just like that because they know that we're going to complain, but we're still going to buy it.
Yeah, I'm going to do this while he's.
That's even if it gets it. That's the foreman or the foreman's sidekick. His yes man would go, just throw it in the box. They're not going to care.
Could have added the Pitchroids. I agree.
That would have been a nice
Punisher.
touch.
Get that Punisher in here. It's a pass for me. Hated that guy.
I know a lot of people who.
It's an acquired thing. Preston says getting Jar Jar put serious look on him. Put a black robe. on him and call him Darth. Listen, I'm just gonna say, you can't, but you do have to wonder, Preston, with all of these off characters: Darth Nihilus, Darth Malgus, Darth Revan, Darth this, Darth that, Darth Luke with the freaking his dad's outfit from Dark Comic. You have to wonder, is we going to get a Darth Jar Jar from Hot Toys?
They call him the Wizard.
Well, he's running around in Fortnite now, so they can just use the game.
He is. You told me that he is running around.
The new playable character. I got to see Palpatine's running around in that. So let me tell you, it is something watching A, Palpatine dance, and B, run around with like AK-47 shooting at people.
Well, but here's the thing, because they're going, this direction with the Dark Empire Luke. You can't take Dark Empire Leia off the table. You can't take Mara Jade off the table. You can't forget about Darkseid Rey. She was in the movie. That's coming. But a lot of these concept figures, look, I mean, everything that we're saying, there's no way, never will give us a figure like Nihilus. We're not going to work for Hot Toys. Never going to give us a Malgus. That was way back from the Sideshow ever. No, you're not going to. They're giving us everything.
Like look at Hano. I remember Brother Cousins years ago discussing that, like, hey man, wouldn't it be cool from Rebels to get that version of Vader with that look, because it's kind of the Ralph McQuarrie look.
Yep.
And
here
we
kind of
said at the time probably they're probably never going to do that, just because that is not what even Hot Toys has done with Clone Wars for animated. They still convert it kind of into a realistic look, but for $220, you may not be able to buy a $300 Darth Vader. But if you want to get an artwork, both a canon look to him, as well as something that is as close as you're probably ever going to get to actually a 6-scale figure of some Ralph McQuarrie original concept art, this is the Darth Vader for you. Now, I pray they put a nylon suit on this, but given its price point, that it's, quote, and I don't know if you call it a $220 figure entry point. I was looking one of those Infinity Studio Jaegers that's coming out from Pacific Rim that's like completely made of die cast is like $230 to buy one of those originally. So where you could get them some places. So, but he's I would kind of hope, because that seems the way they're going in general. But he looks great. But this
wait. But Lane, you're saying that this is $220, because I didn't look at the price yet.
Yeah, it's $220.
$220.
Shoot her or something.
It's too high. Hot Toys can't do that. Lower the price or something. I actually think first impression, that's only like $30-$40 away from a regular. I don't know. Jay, $220 to me, that's a little high for this.
Of course,
I would hope it'd be under $200.
I'm not surprised it was $250. I wasn't surprised that it wasn't $250. This is what they're doing. They're everything is going up now, and they're still considering this entry grade. And I get that they're doing that, but there are some things. I mean, because if you wanted the 40th anniversary Darth Vader, you're going to pay about what? You're going to pay a little over $300 for that retail, right? So I get what they're saying, but
that dueling one, which is $295, that exclusive, which is
right.
Just like Crayola Vader.
If Crayola Vader. But if I was, listen, if it was going to be my first hot toy or first high-end figure or my entry level, and I was putting my money together, and I'm like, okay, I can get this for $220, and then maybe about $80 later, $80 more, I could get something a little bit more substantial with lights in the chest, different head sculpts, and swap outs.
Yeah, like that MMS $6.99 with a freaking head sculpt.
Ah,
You know, the Return of the Jedi Vader, right? Just for it.
Yeah.
I mean, or the
yeah.
You might be able to get the Empire Strikes Back Vader. It's a little bit older, but you might be on the secondary market to get it for a similar price.
That's
You get the full thing.
Exactly. So they should have dropped the price a little bit. This thing shouldn't have been no more honestly than 180. But this is not what they're. I mean, they did an Iron Man, and that Iron Man was
210.
like 220. That was 210. So yeah,
210. So he's
there
more.
you go.
That was used to be the most expensive. I think maybe that Friendly Neighborhood home suit Spider-Man. I think that one's like 200. Or I mean, I don't think it's way off from the Stormtroopers are like 165 and 175, so they're under 200. But I mean, that's kind
I don't see it on here yet, or do they have it on here?
What?
That Vader. Well, I see you could get the dueling effect Darth Vader for $2.95.
Yeah, but I mean, so if you compare it to that, which is kind of a quote standard Vader, it is quite a bit cheaper. I think it's toward the bottom of coming soon.
Yeah, I don't see it. I'm not gonna, but I mean the price. I trust you guys for
$220.
$220. Gosh,
it's $220.
That just seems a little high because look, I can get Nihilus
$260
for freaking $265. And speaking of Nihilus, I gotta bring this up onto the screen because look, baby, everything that we are dreaming about with Star Wars is coming to pass. And you have to ask yourself, Lane, does this open the door for Darth Talon, which was a very expensive figure? Try to find a premium format Sideshow Darth Talon in good condition, and you're spending $1,000 for that figure. And Sideshow knows that, and not only does Sideshow knows that, but Hot Toys knows that, and the favorite clip lady lately, Howard, knows that.
This
hey,
guy
listen,
cool.
Yeah,
and this is a nylon suit. And this is a nylon suit on this.
So this is the same type of suit we're getting with the Dark Empire Luke, is what you're saying, Lane?
Yeah. Or that Starkiller hat. That was one of the first with the nylon.
But this is the best Dark Nihilus you're going to get anywhere. I mean, that is just oh my god,
phenomenal. It really looks good.
And the cool thing for this, I don't know, is that it looks like most of the robes on him, because that's one thing. I mean, obviously, this is not based exactly on the Coder 2 version of him because he didn't have eyes or stuff like that. You didn't really see that on him under the mask. I think it's supposed to be off a miniatures RPG game. Is actually what this is the basis of, or the Galaxy of Heroes game. That's like that other Revan they teased with him.
The Jedi
Knight.
Yeah. I'm Black Sir. I mean, there's for instance, Hasbro's done that.
But it looks like all the robes for this one are very much wired, which not just the cloak, but also maybe like he needs his suit's got to be wired because that's how you get a lot of showing emotion for him and everything is just with that. But I love how this he doesn't come with a whole lot.
Well, Lane, I got to ask you this while you're talking about this. Is it just me, or am I the only one that's done with these lightning effects that I don't think are very good anymore?
I didn't say I was going to use those. Yeah, I mean, we were talking about that. Palpatine nails it perfectly. Why not, even if it's not this much, but why not have a gloved hand where they're just built into the hand?
Yeah,
maybe they're not like going up the entire body or arm or something, but if you have it just where it's the hand and having that kind of effect built into the fabric, built into the hand, and people would like that way more, I think. And it wouldn't, and you wouldn't be pulling. That's like that big supersized Venom. The Venom effect, like the goo effects that you can stick on that, are really cool, but if you leave them on the body, they're going to screw him up over time, so you can't leave him on him. I think that this guy that I pre-order, I just yesterday paid down my pre-order on this guy at my LCS. Had to pay. They require a lot of money down for it, but I like this was the easy one for me of all the figures that were announced. That I'm not sure with that. I'm interested to know. I'm gonna guess probably rubberized plastic, knowing Hot Toys. But
that's a good question because I'm hoping they're not rubberized plastic. I will tell you what, though, everybody in the chat and everybody watching, and again, you're watching a very special live episode of the Market Show because it's May 4th, baby, and May the 4th be with you. Ask Lane, Legend Lane, anything. Ask Jay, Brother Cousins, the Space Pimp, anything. Go ahead and type your questions right now. Ask the Dark Jedi, baby, anything. And while you're asking your questions, smash that like button. Let's go. Let's go. Go ahead and do it. But listen, guys, if you can wire the cape like this, that's almost like the Mythos look for the battle damage Vader that I can't wait to get with the whole freaking Hayden Christensen head sculpt without the plastic, just all cloth. Dude, I could go with this all day. Like that is freaking phenomenal if that really can do that.
Yeah.
I think we have a figure that does that right now. That's a lot of wiring.
I think they have to for that, just for his appearance. So that's going to be. I just have ideas of how I want it posed, like almost like floating and draping like that. So, yeah, I'm gonna spend a lot of. If it is wired like that, I'm gonna spend a lot of time with it. I hope it is. If not, I'm gonna have to get some wires and jimmy it myself because I want it to be kind of like bellowing like that. So I think that's like, like because he's like almost a spirit. So that's cool.
Yeah, well, definitely he's got that whole spirit type of Grim Reaper, if you will, type of feel. And I think Darth Nihilus has had that. I love everything about this except those lighting effects. I'm just, like I said, they have to do something different. I don't know what it's going to be, but there it is. So if anyone was wondering if they were going to follow suit, and I just want to bring this up when we talk about Darkseid Rey, because Hasbro put out a Darkseid Rey, so did Gentle Giant, very, very popular niche character, where a lot of Star Wars fans that want these type of baddies or want certain Jedi or want some of these, for their display, they're very, very popular. Hasbro put out the Jay, sticking with you, they put out the regular Sith Darth Revan, and then shortly after was a GameStop exclusive.
Yep.
They went ahead and they did this Jedi Revan, and then not too far after that, they did the Darkseid Rey. So you do have to wonder. I know we're talking about this, but one of the most sought out after figures. I've had it on a lot of banners, but even at 6scalecantina.com, where you could vote on what you think Hot Toys is going to do next, Darkseid Rey gets voted on and talked about a lot. But I think there's evidence now. When you see Dark Empire Luke, you see Nihilus here, you're seeing Revan, you're seeing Malgus, you're like, what the heck? You're seeing this being teased. I don't think Darkseid Rey and Dark Talon are too far off.
Absolutely not. Oh, absolutely. I think you're gonna get everything at this point. You are. No, you really are. You're gonna get everything. And the fact that they're jumping in Legends the way that they are over the last over the last 6 months to a year, it's been fantastic. We not too long ago, I remember it still feels like we're still waiting on Revan and Starkiller, and they're already, I was like, damn, they already came out. Damn. So we're already at that point, and we're getting all these characters. And I just think it's great because
they're showing us Jedi Revan now too. So we know he's going to be coming at some point.
Yep.
But they already did all the development. Now it's just different road. Hopefully a much better covering for the head and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, look at what Matt says. He says Hot Toys needs to make Darth Malak. So hey, you get one of these, my friend.
The wizard.
Well, hey, they're giving us
They're
that.
going to make Darth Malak. There's not even a question about it.
I mean, let's just be honest. A lot of us are going to say they're doing probably all as exclusives, but they're going to do all of Delta Squad, the Republic Commandos. They already have Boss now out, and they're going to probably do Sev and Fixer as well. Then we've also got, just do all the Coder characters over the next couple of years. Do Basilishan, Shan, do Mission Veho, do Zalbar, because we know you can do, you just did that. Chewbacca, do Canderous Ordo. You can do him as Mandalore the Preserver. Do Kreia. She's one of probably the most interesting Star Wars characters ever existed.
Especially now we got this.
Yeah, and even if
Cal
she's not
Kestis,
coolest, like
Cal Kestis.
If they do not make Cal Kestis and I'm not saying necessarily for the first game, but for when the third game, whatever it comes out in the next few years, if they do not finally do Cal Kestis, it's not like his trilogy is like Star Wars Outlaws where it undersold or something. Like every one of his games is sold. We need a Cal Kestis.
I don't understand why we don't have one yet.
And they're all about making witches and all this other stuff from Ahsoka. Do a Marin as well.
Yeah.
Well, let's read some of these comments in here. Yes, Cal Kestis. Yes, Iden Versio. Yes, Joris Saboth. Yes, isn't that the character from Solo? I'm pretty sure.
Joris was the Dark Jedi from.
The Dark Jedi. I'm getting like okay.
Maybe we got Dark Empire Luke. Now maybe we can get Luke, the clone.
I think
just
so.
What we need.
We've got Victoria in here, and she says, "Just catching up. Some Wonder Woman figures are available in Asia. Listen, pick one up, baby."
Yeah.
They're like some of these. It's going to be interesting because with the tariffs, guys, some of the Hong Kong sellers, I don't know. I guess they don't have to. If you just claim what they are at retail, the tariff's not as bad as if you put it on that you're like at $1,700.
They're not shipping to the United States right now. They're just not.
They're not. No, it's too much. No. But good to have you in here, Victoria, for sure. Absolutely. But no, this is thick. And what's the price on this one, guys? I mean, there you go. Look at that. I mean,
$265 Nihilus.
And how much is the Hano one? I'm just sorry.
The Hano? Which one? Oh, the Vader?
220.
220. Yeah, I'd rather have something like this.
Yeah, I do like. I love the look of Vader in Rebels, though. I actually would have been more fine with it if they didn't call it Hano and they would have just put that look out. But I understand. But the base is interesting here. Why are they going with the plain OT base
instead of the circle base, which is
very interesting with this. Like yeah.
Cost, they have a bunch of them, and I don't know. The other vase is probably a little more harder to produce.
He may not be the most priority figure that they're doing as well.
Mm-hmm. No.
Well, and the other one we have to get to as I go ahead and try to play this clip. But here's another one that we've been waiting for a very, 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 very long time, coming out of the crypt. And you have to ask yourself, Lane, are we going to be getting a 2.0 of the companion piece here? And it looks like Howard doesn't have a problem with The Force Awakens anymore, dude.
Okay, stay calm. I am calm. I'm talking to myself.
Poe Dameron. We've got Poe. But I'm going to tell you right now, and people are going to be like crazy on me, is the Dark Jedi going to be pre-ordering the Poe? And I'd say, I don't know. but I am saving because I'm saving up already for the absolutely inevitable Artisan Oscar Isaac Poe Dameron, which they're going to do when we get close to the release of the Moon Knight figure. Because as you've all been seeing with these Artisan releases, and the evidence has shown, they're putting these out and they're using more head sculpts for different bodies and figures. There's not a chance, in my opinion, they're not going to take advantage of that. I said, hey, by the way, Moon Knight's out. Got the Artisan. Here's your final production photos. By the way, if you want an Artisan Poe, here it is too. We just finished it. I mean, they may put it on J pre-order before then. But the Poe Dameron, what a shock.
Yeah. I mean, going back to what you're saying there with Artisan Poe, very likely. And what they could do, they can be like, oh, this is Poe from the beginning of the movie, and give him Finn's jacket. Use the Moon Knight sculpt.
Wow, you're right. I didn't even think of that.
1,500 of it. Put it up in the queue, and crowd goes wild. So, yeah.
Easy bucks, because this is what they're doing. They're giving you a regular Anakin, and then they're even slightly changing the head sculpt, and they're giving you a dark side Anakin. They're giving you a regular Joker, and then they're giving you a Batman imposter Joker. They're giving you a regular Ewan McGregor General Kenobi, and they're giving you a Mandalorian General Kenobi. They're just going to keep doing this and milking this cow. And honestly, look at his head sculpt here. To me, it's very similar to Moon Knight. They totally revamped the one from the crypt, thank goodness, because that one was outdated. But this looks very nice, and even the way you see some of his hair, are you noticing on the left side, the way it kind of goes up over there, kind of matches a little bit what they were going to do with that Artisan one. I actually think they're going to do an Artisan. That's why I'm iffy on this, because I'm going to have two of them, because I know they're going to do it.
For me, I'm like this. I'm happy with Poe. Just happy with Poe. I don't necessarily need him Artisan. I don't need the character Artisan. Give me just this one right here. I'm happy. The star for me is that yes, the sculpt is already great. They do a wonderful job with sculpted hair, period. They do.
Look at that.
And the fact that him in the flight suit, I think he looks great. I'm good. I'm good with this. I'm not that invested into the character where I need it as an Artisan. If this was something else, yeah, different. But for Poe, I'm good with this.
The thing is, for me, if they do it, I gotta have it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm good with it too. Especially when I'm looking. I look at this. Look how good it is.
Well, the thing is, I'm getting I'm getting Moon Knight too. So if I really wanted him to be an Artisan, I could just take it. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So tell me, Jay, real quick, what do you think of this head sculpt? Because I think it's absolutely, they're hitting next level.
I think
in everything that they're doing.
I think it's great. I think it was well worth that they waited to do this figure, because if we would have got it in their original run of those figures back in 2015, 2016, well, 2016 more likely, it wouldn't have looked like this. The proportions wouldn't have looked like this. That head sculpt would not look like this. It definitely wouldn't have had rolling eyes, not for a standard release. And now that's a rolling eyes is just like, having a double elbow joint at this point. It's one of the it's another point of articulation. So it's fantastic just from what we're getting right here. I'm totally getting it. I don't have many of my Force Awakened figures anymore because I knew they would be 2.0 eventually. But
and there was not to cut you off there, Jay, because keep going, but there was a time, when the culture was more toxic with Star Wars after The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, Howard's not going to do that. But, times have changed. Mandalorian is going on to, his fourth season, if you will. It's going to be a movie instead. There's a lot of healing out there. It's 10 years past, and now it's just, and they're tying in all this prequel stuff. And I think Howard's like looking at his little, catalog, and he's looking at Poe, and he's looking at all these other Force Awakens and Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker figures, and he's doing this right now. Because he doesn't have to come out, Jay, with 50,000 of each character. So even when Victoria says it here, Artisan Admiral Haldo, I think you do have to wonder, because you only got to make 1,500.
They call him the Wizard.
I mean, they could. Now, I don't know. There are a lot of characters, I will tell you, though, Jay, from The Last Jedi and Lane and The Rise of Skywalker that we never got. But I do think because of what Hot Toys is doing, and everybody's always wanting new stuff, it's not completely off the table for me where I thought some of those characters were. You never know.
Yeah.
But I think the main characters here, though, yes.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
especially the ones that make sense. But I think they're going to artisan this. And I think you hit the nail right on the head with the other outfit, too. They don't have to do it.
It's too easy for them not to do it. It is too easy. They got all the parts. At that point, all they're doing is kit bashing, putting it into another box, saying it's exclusive, saying, oh, we only have 15.
Like the Obi-Wan last year, the Mando one.
There you go. Exactly.
That was like the definition of a licensed kit bash.
Exactly.
Like literally licensed kit bash from, hey, we've had all these parts. The only thing that was kind of original to that figure at all was the paint scheme.
That's it.
That was it. Like that was it.
Lane, what do you think of this price at $280, brother?
I think it's perfect. It's the perfect price for a head sculpted figure. The one thing I am going to go finish right on you a little bit for if they're going to do an artisan version of Poe. I'm going to say denied. I don't think they're going to do an artisan figure out of this at all, because they did the artisan Moon Knight.
But why? They're doing Moon Knight. So are they going to? And maybe you're right. So maybe they'll give you a different version of Moon Knight. But they're going to.
But no, there's another, I think, practical reason why they wouldn't do an artisan for this too. It's because of the helmet,
and that's why I think Jay. He has another outfit in this show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I just, like I said, I don't think they're going to artisan Poe.
But I don't think a whole lot of people would buy that outfit if you could get him in like this super outfit.
Yeah, I know.
Honestly,
now,
but 1,500 of them, yeah, you're going to sell.
There's a flip side to this. I don't think there's enough interest in the character. I don't think they're going to do an artisan. For $400-something, I don't think they could sell 2,000 because there's still too much negativity to a certain level to the sequel trilogy yet. But what I would say, seeing this outfit, I could maybe see the possibility that we could see a Red 5 Luke Skywalker. Maybe
God, they're going to do that.
Stuff. Like, because that's what I was.
Oh, Lane, I will do this with you, Lane. Let's make a bet live. I'll bet you a Hot Toys figure.
No,
they do an artisan because I'm already saving for it. So I'll bet you an Hot Toys figure that they will do an artisan Poe Dameron.
This is going to be one of the few times I'm just going to outright and say absolutely not, Aries. You
underestimate my predicting.
You underestimate my power.
He's been right for too many times. I wouldn't do it. Don't do it, Lane.
All I'm going to say is that my powers have increased twice since the last time that we met. So my
powers have doubled since the last time we met, Count.
Good. Twice the pride, double the fall.
Yeah, all I'll say is if that was Aries doing that, we know how that turned out. His predictions ended up with their arms cut.
But listen, here's a prediction that I agree with you on, because we're seeing Grievous, we're seeing Good, we're seeing the haha version of Good, we're seeing two versions of Anakin. We're gonna get everything. Can we please get Obi-Wan?
You are a bold one.
He feels, but does it also kind of feel like, and I'm speaking of excluding the Kenobi show, does it feel like for every prequel movie version of Kenobi, Ewan McGregor, we're always, that is like the one thing we keep going, well, it seems simple enough that they would do Obi-Wan. We did that for episode 1. People have said, well, during the 20th anniversary of the Attack of the Clones, oh, they should knock out, they did Anakin and Padme. Oh, we got to be getting Space Jesus, Obi-Wan.
Well,
and now
I
we're
have
saying
these up.
It feels like the easiest one of any 20th anniversary Revenge of the Sith, whether artisan or sculpted, would be Obi-Wan Revenge of the Sith 2.0. That feels like the easiest gimme, but we haven't seen.
Well, listen, the ancient action figure theorists at 6scalecantina.com are kicking butt. I got a lot more check marks I got to put on here, including this one that we thought was going to come out, and it did. And obviously this, not the non-artisan version, the 10th anniversary of The Force Awakens. But you may be right. We may be getting Space Jesus here and not even get this one. But this is the one that I want for right now, because they're giving you the Anakin. They're giving you 2 different Anakins. They're giving you Grievous. They're giving you multiple versions of Sidious. So I think, Jay, out of all these companion pieces, and right now people are on fire buying Howard Chan and Hot Toys, JC Hong, the whole gang, they've got to see. And honestly, they have a pretty good head sculpt with that General Kenobi and that Mando one. I mean, I think they could make it a little better, but I really could see this coming. This is one that I want bad. It'll go with a lot of these figures.
I almost want to like just go to like Toy Anxiety and just get another Obi-Wan sculpt, a General Kenobi sculpt, and just see if I can, find a way to put it on the current Revenge of the Sith one that I have. I kind of want to do that. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if anybody has tried that in the community, but that's kind of what I want to do at this point. Hey, look at this guy.
What's up?
Look at this guy. Where are you at? You look like you're in Dubai. Where are you at?
No,
second brother. What's going down?
What's going on? What's going on? Sorry that I'm late.
No, that's all right. Thank you for popping in here. You're right. You're right on the ending stretch here. But we're just talking a little bit of May 4th, next several hours. I mean, there's been just so much. It is hard to keep track. But we got the Poe.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I can't believe how many people talk about her.
Yeah.
They talk about, they're doing all these niche characters with these dark Darth type of characters, Darth Nihilus, Darth Malgus, Darth Revan, the Dark Empire. And I feel like, and second brother, I'll go to you. You're just jumping in here. I feel like they're listening to some of these shows. I feel like they listen to Best of the Best.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
So they got to know a lot of collectors looking at this. And we were talking about earlier how they're following Hasbro a little bit, because they went on that kick with Darth Revan, that GameStop exclusive. Then they did another GameStop exclusive. They did the Jedi one. Then they did the Darth Nihilus. Then they did the Dark Side Rey. I mean, if they're following that pattern with the license, they may do this. They may just throw this out there. I'm just saying.
I mean, pretty much now I call it, we're in the kitchen sink season. Everything that's out there is going to give everything that's out there. Ideas get thrown out there. I know I'm pretty much like, if you want to impress me, do this, this, and this. And they did just that. So throw another one out there. If you're listening, you haven't done, excuse my language, I'm going to say it, you haven't done shit until we get a Bosch layer.
Yeah.
Just to
agree.
poke the bear. Let's just poke the bear a little bit.
Especially with all those coming villainy figures.
What
with the
layers do
new
I have up
Sideshow
here?
Jabba the Hutt as well coming.
Yeah.
I have this layer I can flash up right now.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
But that one
Yeah.
second, brother. Would that one suffice if they did that? We'd hold you over.
You know, it would be both. Actually, it would be both. So, this one right here will probably pull a little bit of controversy, but in the climate we are now, that's the least of our worries worrying about laying in a nice bikini. That's we don't have to worry about that. But with this new price of Jabba, that was that kind of took my breath away, considering what I paid for it originally.
How much did you pay for it originally? Wasn't it like
$740?
Wow.
$740 with free shipping. That's how much I paid for.
Damn.
All right, but listen, does this take your breath away? Because I'm pulling this up to go with it. If this takes your breath away too, and this is the DX34.
Hey guys, I have to head out. Sorry, all of a sudden here.
Lane,
I have to head out.
You've been the man.
All right, thank you guys. Have a good night.
Hasta Vadia. 1,500. Don't get any audio late. $1,500. Jay, this is what I was telling you about. I was telling second brother. I was telling Jay about this earlier. $1,500. The DX34 now. The last few days is going sky high. I don't know what's going on. It's been sky high, but it's been more like around 1,000, right? Since the Dark Side one came out. All of a sudden, the last few days, I'm seeing $1,500. I'm seeing these prices I'm putting on here. This just sold on May 4th this morning. Okay, I kid you not, another one. Okay, this seller right here, 1224 sold.
Wow,
just gone. So how do you explain that with this one?
It's it's good for the short term. It's good for the short term, but how they've been kind of, I would say this, been making cool whip pies and hitting us in the face with them with exclusives, and then come out with another regular figure with a time release that made you chase for another one. I'm sorry to say, I don't have faith in. I mean, it's good for the temporary sales and people making quick sales off of them. I'm not into this, into this hobby to go buy and sell. That's not what I do. So I'm happy to get it at the price that I got it, and it's not turned to a chase figure. I think the last chase figure I did was the DX07. That was the last, chase figure I really hunted for and wanted, and the Reeves Superman.
Yeah.
To get that. So those were the only ones that really made me chase. But how Hot Toys is doing now, who's to say? You're going to see another edition of this probably in the next 18 months at the rate that they're going.
That's true.
So
I agree.
It's like, I consider it buyer beware. That's what I consider buyer beware, because you paying these what's called hype prices. Because that's what it is. It's a hype price that you're paying. And then next thing you know, you sitting up there looking at the figure you paid $1,500 for, and it's only worth, you end up getting secondary market made $550, $600. And another reason why this price is inflated like this, because this is in a tariff effect also. You got to couple that in there too.
Yep, you do have to couple that in.
Yep.
And so Jay, with these, I'm flashing up a bunch for you on the DX34. I showed the DX37 later. I was telling you over the phone, I agree with second brother on the tariff thing. Is that part of the reason, or what? Why is this not so far behind the DX47? I mean, again, here's May 4th. I mean, what's going on here?
I think it could be a couple of things. I can think, one, it could be preference to the sculpt. Some people want the clean light side Anakin. Some people just want that. They may have seen the Darth Vader one. It was like, okay, I don't like the eyes. The eyes aren't right, and maybe they're going to come with a 2.0. They're convinced that they're going to come with a 2.0, and they missed out on this one, so that's why they're doubling back getting this one. Or they could be like, look, I'm willing to pay $1,300, but I want the light side Anakin. I'm going to take my chances and see if they get another dark side, a dark side 2.0, and not get this Darth Vader. It could be a couple of those things, but it's very weird. I mean, because like Big Bro was saying, what you're paying for at this point, yes, you're paying for the hype. You're paying for that. Yes, the tariffs play a little part in it, but I mainly think it's the hype because I remember, Aries, we saw it when this thing first dropped at Celebration. There was one, the highest was in it. The highest went for $3,600, and that was
it was it.
And it was taken down, and I think it was taken down because the guy probably made a deal with somebody there. Because even at $3,600, I think that would be a hard sell. That would be harder to move. 1,500, this 1,325. This is like the sweet spot right here, which is why you're seeing all these votes on it. People are willing to buy it.
Yeah, no, and I pulled this up too. We looked at it earlier. We were following this auction, and we had other ones up there a second, brother, on going back to the DX47. Because when you're talking about Jabba, it just brought this back up. I mean, $1,325, 25 bids, 2 hours, 52 minutes left. And I think, and here's the thing with this. I do think that they're going to come out with sculpted versions. I think there was a specific reason they put all this R&D in these head sculpts, and they're not going to what? They're only going to give you rooted. Doesn't make sense.
It's money on the table. There is still 1,000 unaccounted for that nobody knows about yet or ever heard. That's still sitting. I pretty much estimate that we're probably going to hear something about that dark side Anakin, though. That 1,000 that's supposed to be out there, we're probably going to hear about that around the 4th of July. And everybody going to be going nuts trying to get their hands on it. So
now I heard, it's funny you bring that up. I brought it up at the beginning of the show. When I saw, like, Toys for Adults has the DX47 available. With the brown shipper box, which none of these have had yet. And I wonder if I can pull them up on the screen. I'm wondering if that'll actually come up. Let me see if I can pull up Toys for Adults and see what comes in over here. But I thought that I saw on one of these sites that there was 500 already in China, which means there's 500 left. Where are they going to go, second brother? Are they going to go to Sideshow? Right. And there's one of those notices about, you can see right here. Well, that's for their public holiday, but let's see. Toys for Adults. Here it is. I'm going to pull it up. DX47.
And this is the
and
one.
They have a picture of the shipper box. It's right there.
Okay, and this is the one that doesn't have the special sleeve on it.
Right.
Gotcha.
So is that why it's called collector edition? Yeah, that must be
probably.
It.
This is not the special edition. Go back up. I'm sorry, because it said it. Brown shipper box, packing materials. It said this is not
the special edition. Japan edition. Okay, so they're saying it. Well, then maybe this is the site where they said 500. I read it somewhere. I don't know if it's how true it is.
Jeremy Casa is getting a handful as well, and he's put that up early this week. And this must be from the allotment that's in China. That 500. So we need to find out what is that other 500.
would they did you guys so Sucker Brother, you think that they would wait? Would they do it maybe this week too? Or maybe they'll just hold on to that?
For to release this?
Yeah. If they even give it to us in the U.S. I'm thinking Sideshow is gonna get it at some point.
That's gonna be insane. Because you got, as I count, 4 exclusives on top of one another, and the timing. The timing is kind of off, or how they're going to compile all these together. Now, again, we are talking about these figures, and they're talking about numbers, and they're not serialized.
Yeah.
So, people talk about 500 here, 500 there. I don't believe it. I will believe Sideshow will have 1,000. So, and it's so much unpredictability with this right now.
I'd like them to be serialized. That keep going, but I think you bring up a good point, because that would really give proof.
Right, but after a while, I think this steam is going to run out with numbers. Because basically, if you're just speaking it out and there's nothing written behind it, it's just basically speaking numbers in the air, and that can be changed at any time. No one have taken a form or accounting. There's been situations where I've seen so many figures that are supposed to be 1,500 pieces. I swear I've probably seen 1,500 different pages on eBay.
Yeah.
So, the number thing is kind of like, and, for something that we talk about, we want some exclusives, that's fine. But when you start doing things where you don't have serial numbers on them, and then you bring out a figure, people chase it to get it, they're happy to get it, whatever. 2 months down the line, they try and get, we got a regular version here. But the only thing they do is change the label on the box. After a while, you run out of steam with that.
Mm-hmm.
So
now, here's ones, guys, as we get ready to end here, that are even more limited, because I don't think this is as many. It's going for a good price, but not going crazy. So this is Darth Maul. I mean, one of the most prominent Sith Lords, in Star Wars. $465, healthy price, but Anakin is just king right now. It's just that the 25 bids, but no one's bidding on this. Like they're bidding on those Anakins. Now, what do you think the difference is? Is it just Artisan? Is that the reason?
It's probably because Artisan, but then, for this to be an exclusive, we haven't have a set number of this yet, Average. I haven't seen it.
I think it was 1,500, right, Jay?
I think it was 1,500 for this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
So that's 1,500, period, because, they sold some at the convention. So that's 15.
Yes,
that's
1,500 period.
Out in the market.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's kind of crazy. If it was only 1,500 produced, and then they sold some at the celebration, and then you get this price. So that pretty much gives you, that's a precursor of how much is people really want it.
Now this one though, on the other hand, is going very high.
Yeah, the cherry blossoms. A lot of people seem to want the cherry blossom one.
I mean, look at this, 665 with 19 bids. It's got just about 3 hours left.
Oh wow,
that's crazy. But and I don't know how much this one was limited to. And the Jyn Erso now, the Jyn Erso, like I could pull this up, and this one I know is only 1,500 pieces. And I think this is an outstanding figure, but you're seeing that
crazy.
This one's already reduction. It's
440, 422.
That one, that's wild. I saw that one sell for 800 last week.
Yeah, last week.
Now that the hype is down there.
Yeah, and hype is down. Next time we probably see it next be like 325. I think that Jyn Erso is going to be a general release. I really think so.
You think so?
Yeah. They want that money on the table, dude. They want that. They want that money. They want that money.
You're probably right. I would, because what they could, because what they could do is they could just like change the box and change up and throw in another accessory in, and there you go. It's a dirty game. It's a dirty game, guys. I hate to leave, but I do have to. I gotta go. I really gotta. I gotta split.
No, absolutely. We're getting ready to try to get. We're kind of very big here. See if we can go on this one. There we go. No, I said I would go 2 hours. I'm almost at 2:10, so I think this is great. But I really appreciate. And second brother, I'm so glad that you jumped on. I know that you're not in your usual resting place, but it's always great to have you on.
Yeah.
And you guys here
just
for May
came-
4th. But yeah,
I just came from visiting a childhood friend. I haven't seen him in 42 years,
Wow.
and he's going through chemo
Wow.
going through chemo right now.
Oh.
So I had to make a point. I had to make a point to see him. We had some good times. Little Macho got to find out how bad his dad was. So yeah, it was a good time, good experience. While I was down here, just that my childhood friend and a couple of friends from the neighborhood. So but I had to figure, because I tried to get back here in time. I was like, damn, everything's going to go to 9. So as soon as I got to the hotel, like, okay, let me take my laptop and go downstairs.
Well, I tell you what, I can't believe we covered everything I wanted to cover. I will tell you, if there's like some kind of Artisan Luke tonight or Han, you may see me jump back on. But we'll see. We'll see.
Right.
But Jay, I know. Anything going on your channel as we close here, so we can get out.
No, just want everybody to subscribe to the new page. I got a new YouTube channel called Second Impression. There we interview artists of all walks of life in music, TV, and film. So make sure you check that out. That is Second Impression. We'll be dropping our first couple of interviews in the next week or so. So yes, we finally will have some content on that channel. And for Brother Cousins, Best of the Best this Thursday. And if anything pops up tomorrow, we'll do a show. We'll be on top of it. We'll definitely talk about it. And yes, Darth Vader Sith Apprentice, that is up. If anybody wants to go check that out, that review is up. And we also have some surprise videos too. Some surprise videos coming. So be on the lookout for that.
All right. Well, listen, it's been a great show, and for Lane and Brother Cousins and Second Brother jumping on in. May the 4th be with you. Start brewing your coffee right now, because you do have to ask yourself: are you going to spill it later tonight or more this week? I have a little bit of a hunch. Hot Toys and Howard Chad, they're not done. They are absolutely not done doing this, baby. Oh, that money break game. But listen, for everybody here, I appreciate all of you. May the 4th be with you.
Yes.
I don't always finish all the wizard juice. It's gone. On with Spotchka, but when I do, I do it right here at the 6 scale cantina. Stay thirsty, everyone. Happy May 4th.
All right. But this is the last time.